The news that the Boston Celtics are seriously entertaining trade offers for Jaylen Brown, even after his historic Finals MVP run and nearly $300 million contract, is the reality that has shattered the basketball world's expectations. While fans see Brown as one half of the league's most dominant duo, the industry view behind closed doors is shifting toward a cold, hard financial calculation. The public often believes that a player of Brown's caliber would be a Celtics for life candidate, but a series of leaked reports regarding the team's second apron crisis and Brown's vocal criticism of the league's relationship with gambling suggests that the franchise cornerstone is becoming a lightning rod for controversy. We are going to dig into the internal team memos, the noise around the Jayson Tatum injury collapse, and the specific reasons why the front office believes they can no longer afford to keep him. By the end of this video, we will answer 3 critical questions. Why did Brown's role as vice president of the NBPA make him a target for league leadership? How did Jayson Tatum's devastating Achilles injury in the 2025 playoffs force a nuclear rebuild in Boston? And what does the giant red flag regarding Brown's trade value mean for the future of the Celtics dynasty? Per the internal industry reports from early January 2026, the narrative that the Celtics are just exploring options has evolved into a full-scale exit strategy. The reality is that the new NBA salary cap rules, specifically the second apron penalties, have made the Celtics roster unsustainable. According to a Sports Illustrated report from late 2025, the Celtics' elimination by the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference semifinals exposed a team that was too expensive to lose. The plan today is to break down the receipts of the Celtics cap sheet and show you why the industry is panicking as the reigning champions prepare to blow up their core. We have to look at the numbers. With Tatum sidelined for the entire 2025-26 season due to a torn Achilles suffered on May 12, 2025, the Celtics are paying over $60 million a year for a star who isn't on the court, leaving Brown to carry a burden that the front office no longer thinks he can manage alone. The second most shocking point in this investigation involves Brown's increasingly aggressive stance against the NBA's corporate partners. According to a Fox Sports report on October 25, 2025, Brown used his platform as the VP of the Players Association to call out the negative discourse created by the league's partnership with sports betting platforms. Brown didn't hold back, suggesting that the league has failed to protect players from aggressive bettors and that more conversations were needed regarding the integrity of the game. He famously told the media, "Don't bet on me," a direct shot at the parlay culture that has taken over the sport. The shock here is that Brown's comments came right as federal investigators were indicting players and coaches, including former teammate Terry Rozier, for alleged illegal gambling activity. The industry view is that while Brown's intentions might be pure, his habit of taking matters into his own hands and going against the grain of the league's billion-dollar gambling revenue is making him a problem star for the league office. This wasn't just a player voicing an opinion, it was a high-ranking union official challenging the league's most lucrative new business model during a time of extreme sensitivity. The number one most shocking revelation is the unanimous rejection of the loyalty narrative by the Celtics front office. According to an industry crystal ball report in early 2026, the Celtics are poised for a massive turnover to shed salaries and get under the second apron. The reality is that even though Brown recently stated that Boston is home, the financial receipts tell a different story. Per the 2026 trade intel, the Celtics are reportedly looking to move Brown specifically because his Supermax contract, worth up to $304 million, has become an anchor that prevents them from surrounding a recovering Jayson Tatum with a younger, cheaper roster. The giant red flag, as described by league executives, is the fear that Brown's independent nature and his choice to prioritize community projects over traditional, high-paying corporate endorsements have made him less of a company man than a championship franchise usually requires under the new CBA. Following that, we have to look at the loyalty silence that has permeated the TD Garden. According to reports from the Boston Globe in late December 2025, the atmosphere surrounding the team has become heavy with fact and fiction. When Brown was asked about the trade rumors, he referred to them as media noise, yet insiders say the disconnect between him and the front office has reached an all-time high. The payout here is the realization that the unity of the 2024 championship run has been replaced by a survival of the fittest mentality. With the team currently in a gap year while Tatum rehabs, the front office is realizing that Brown as a solo act doesn't justify the record-breaking price tag, especially when his playmaking and turnover issues re-emerge without Tatum's gravity on the floor. The fourth point involves the federal indictment ripple effect. While Jaylen Brown has not been accused of any wrongdoing, his public defense of Terry Rozier and his criticism of how the NBA handled the betting scandal have put him at odds with the league's public relations machine. Per the legal reports from late 2025, the NBA and its players have been extremely busy with lawsuits and federal investigations. Brown's decision to call the accusations against his friend not conducive to his character was seen by some as a bold act of loyalty, but by others in the industry as a publicity risk. When your star player is questioning the Department of Justice's Operation Royal Flush on a public podium, it creates a friction that ownership groups, like the new group led by William Chisholm, find incredibly difficult to manage. The fifth body point explores the second apron trap. The 76ers, Bucks, and Celtics are all facing a crisis of confidence among stakeholders because their aging, expensive rosters are no longer producing results. According to a January 2026 financial analysis, the Celtics risk being locked out of trades and free agency entirely if they don't move a major salary by Feb 5 deadline. The reality is that the NBA's new business model is designed to break up dynasties, and Jaylen Brown is the most valuable asset the Celtics can move to free themselves from the second apron's restrictions. This would allow them to retool around Tatum when he returns for the 2026-2027 season. The payout is the realization that the business of basketball has outgrown the sentiment of keeping the band together. The sixth point addresses the contractual fallout from the 2023 extension. When Brown signed the 5-year, $304 million deal, it was the largest in NBA history. However, the receipts from 2025 show that this deal was built on a salary cap projection that didn't fully account for the basketball penalties of the second apron. Brown's salary is set to jump to over $60 million per year by 2026-27. Industry insiders are calling this a poison pill for the Celtics' long-term depth. The shocker here is that even with Brown playing at an all-star level, the cost of keeping him effectively confiscates the Celtics' 2032 first-round pick and freezes their ability to sign even mid-level free agents. Furthermore, we must consider the impact of the Anthony Simons variable. As of January 2026, the Celtics have added players like Simons to match salaries, but these moves are only temporary fixes. The real industry secret is that Brad Stevens has been told by the new ownership to cut nearly $300 million in projected salary and luxury tax. This mandate has already led to the departures of Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford. Brown is the last major domino to fall. The receipts from the 2025-26 payroll show a team desperate to reset its repeater tax clock, and moving Brown is the only way to achieve that goal in a single transaction. The eighth point focuses on Brown's community over corporate philosophy. Brown has been incredibly vocal about building a Black Wall Street in Boston and focusing on his 7 Juice brand. While commendable, this has reportedly led to some tension with the league's commercial interests. Per a January 2026 report, the NBA prefers stars who are aligned with the broadcast narrative. Brown's willingness to disrupt that narrative, whether by criticizing the officiating or the league's betting ties, has made him a tough sell for certain major sponsors. This lack of marketing synergy is a silent factor in the Celtics' willingness to move on. Finally, we look at the end game for Jaylen Brown in Boston. With reports that he is looking to take matters into his own hands for the rest of the 2026 season, the cost of his defiance is becoming clear. The industry is watching to see if the Celtics can find a trade partner willing to take on a $300 million contract for a player who thinks against the grain. The cost of his mistakes isn't just measured in technical fouls, it's measured in the total loss of his status as a franchise cornerstone in the eyes of the Boston management. In summary, the fall of Jaylen Brown's tenure in Boston is a masterclass in how financial regulations and personal independence can dismantle a championship core. We've seen the receipts of the salary cap crisis, the public clashes with the league's betting partners, and the chilling reality that loyalty has a price tag that the Celtics can no longer pay. The insider takeaway is that in the 2026 NBA, talent gets you the ring, but cap flexibility is what keeps you in the city. The Celtics are currently stuck with a star who wants to lead and a front office that wants to rebuild. If you want to understand the real financial war happening in the NBA and why the 2026 trade deadline will be the most chaotic in history, you need to see the full picture. For more on the hidden secrets and power plays of the basketball industry, you need to check out our Court Vision Rope Industry Secrets playlist. It's the essential next step to understanding the game behind the game.